Storygram Network.
Hello, we are the Sonoma Community Center podcast, a place of creativity, connection, and community. We highlight the artists, teachers, and the community that come through the doors of our historic brick building, often called the heart of Sonoma. We share local tips and shout outs to our home, Sonoma Valley. And we are your hosts, Molly Spencer,
Gerardo Diaz.
We are the engagement team of the Sonoma Community Center.
Whoop, whoop.
Hello, Gerardo.
Hey, Molly, how you doing?
Well, I'm looking right behind you in the window of the music room, and I see sunshine.
Sunshine is everywhere now. I love it. I like rain, though. I like rain. Don't get me wrong. I like the water, too.
The water is good, but we're recording, what is this, beginning of March, in like a lion, hopefully out like a lamb. I'm a little sick of the rain.
Molly,
even though we
I have
it.
a 7-year-old who, when he sees the sun, he wants to go out in the park. And then you have a 40-year-old who doesn't want to get out of bed. So, no, I'm sorry. But I like the rain, you know?
Isn't it good fishing? More rain, better fish?
You know what? It is. But I haven't done any fishing lately.
Yeah.
So
well, springtime's coming.
Yeah.
And yes, we are busy around here. Here we are in March, but by the time this recording comes out, we'll probably be towards the end of March. We are currently underway celebrating Women's Month for March, and a few of the things are the gallery show. Have you been upstairs to the gallery show?
Not.
So the gallery show kicked off up in Gallery 212 is a rotating gallery of artists and presentations that have happened for years and years and years. And the one that's happening right now, and I'm just going to read it, was put together by not only the Sonoma Valley Historical Society, but also the Sonoma Valley Women's Club, which are super instrumental in, if you look at the Sonoma Plaza and all of the trees that have been planted there, they have orchestrated all of that. So it really kind of tells the story of them, as well as, I am so sorry, but I'm looking at a completely different thing that they have up here, but it's early California through the eyes of women. So come and check up that gallery presentation. It's up here, but by the time this recording is out, it may be back or on rotation to another location, but you can always inquire with us, as many of the images are kept by the Sonoma Valley Historical Society. Gosh, they have so much. They have so much knowledge. Yes. Have you ever went to the Depot Museum? Right?
I've been there a couple
times.
times.
The old train.
Yeah,
it's up at the Depot Park. Very cool, especially like when they have the Boys Hot Springs Museum going on. But that kind of leads us into all the things we're doing here. We have lots of classes coming out in culinary. We can loop into that.
Have a lot of them.
A little thing called Trash and Fashion Sonoma.
The Trash and Fashion.
Exactly. This is a accumulation of creative, sustainable events. We are in our 14th year doing the Trash and Fashion Runway Show. All the applications are coming in. I'm thinking there's about 40 artists, although I will know. So this happens at the Vets building, and it's an opportunity to turn trash into treasure.
You know, when I started working here, I think I was in February 2 years ago, and I think it was Trash and Fashion going on. It was well, first it was Chili Bowl. Yeah. And then when Trash and Fashion, I love that event. I thought it was really cool.
It is really cool. We do a runway show, 2 shows at the Veterans Memorial Hall. It often sells out. But we also do a wrap-up party trash bash that will be on April 12th. It's the Sonoma Community Center. This is free to the public, and it's an opportunity to see the designers' outfits up close, ask questions, have a little trash-roni pasta feed, courtesy of Gerardo.
I remember that day, too. We used to have those cat in the walk.
Dogs on the catwalk.
Yeah.
Not this
cool.
year. We're going to do an evening time dance party, last bid for Barbies. The Trash and Barbies Gallery will be up at the Sonoma Community Center. And if you're coming to visit and you're out of town, take a tour on the plaza. Go to the Visitors Bureau. We actually have a walking trash and tour dress pamphlet, so you can make a day of it. Come see the Barbies, Trash and Barbies at the community center. Go and see all the outfits and support local businesses, runway show, free events. Yeah, it's all goes into the great efforts of fundraising for the Sonoma Community Center
Perfect day to bust out my margarita mixer.
So you got a margarita mixer, didn't you?
Lushies.
You're really trying to get that over to the runway show. Maybe the trash bash. Bring your IDs, folks.
Yeah.
It's all levels. But one of the things I love about Trashin', and it's a fundraiser, of course, for the Sonoma Community Center. And one of the major nonprofits that are our partners and have been here for many years is Sonoma Arts Live, the resident theater group down in Andrews Hall. And today we have with us Maeve Smith, friend. Hi. Mother, actress, director, and was also a pod you and your husband, Andrew, were on in December.
Yep. Talking about our family and how we ended up in Sonoma. And
yes.
Yeah.
Definitely go and reference that episode. I think it's end of December. I'm not exactly sure what issue it is, but gives a little background into your background. But now we're going to focus on an upcoming production that you are directing.
Wow.
Yes.
And it's
correct.
The Hello Girls.
It's the Hello Girls.
Hello, girls.
Yeah.
You've directed before.
Yes.
Okay.
Wouldn't it scare you if I was like, never?
Never.
Oh my God. And Jamie Love, the artistic director, is going to let me direct this premiere of a musical.
Real quickly, share us too a little bit about Sonoma Arts Live. They're a nonprofit, just as we are. And theater is an amazing thing to support, and maybe give a shout out of how people can support besides coming to see the upcoming shows.
Totally. Sonoma Arts Live Theater Company. And yes, our residence is currently inside the Sonoma Community Center.
We are two separate nonprofits, folks, because people do ask for box office tickets and sort of things. But
oh my gosh. Well, first, thank you for having me, and thank you for the work that the Sonoma Community Center does. I mean, I think it just is so why Sonoma is so special.
I agree.
And so, Sonoma Arts Live Theater Company, nonprofit. They produce plays and musicals of full season of everything from new works to traditional.
What's a season for a beginning novice like us? When you talk of season.
You are not a novice in theater, but okay.
Wait, what's a novice?
That doesn't know?
Yeah, I guess I'm not a novice.
I'm a novice.
But it's, for Gerardo.
Okay, Gerardo.
Who's a novice.
Yes.
Someone didn't know. You plan out seasons
season, yes.
How many shows are in a season?
It really depends on the theater company. Okay. And I hope I don't get this wrong. We do 6 shows a year, and our season opens in the fall.
Okay.
And it closes usually with a big splashy musical in the summer.
So how long does it last? Like each show? Each show.
That's the most important thing. If you want to come see a show, they run for 3 weekends.
Okay.
So you cannot sleep on these things. It's not like Phantom of the Opera on Broadway for multiple
years
decades.
And years. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you got to go, and then because the next show's coming right in.
So do you guys do repeats though every year or no? You've never seen the same show every...
Once in a while, if it's like a fan favorite show, they might bring it back, but they usually wait a few years. They did bring back Always Patsy Cline because that was
great.
Huge
I saw it the first time around.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
So good.
I know a lot of people just love to see the repeats, but I also like to see you guys have new works that come up. Congratulations on Sylvia. That was just produced. I heard that was amazing and got
Sylvia was the play that just closed, and it was everything and more. It was so good.
I heard.
Yeah.
Was Sylvia a repeat too or no?
No.
Did I see that last year? No. We didn't.
It's not a brand new play, so maybe you heard about it somewhere else, but
no.
It wasn't
just from around here.
Yeah. And so, if you don't live in Sonoma, any way that you can support your theater is going to the theater, donating to the theater, buying a season subscription, which means you buy multiple tickets to whatever they're going to announce for their season, and volunteering.
I agree. And one thing, if you don't know about Sonoma Arts Live or Andrews Hall in particular, is it's a very intimate theater. So it's limited seating. If you want to get seats, it's also, there is not a bad seat in the house.
Nope. Not a bad seat.
I think it fits between the balcony and downstairs, maybe about 100.
Yeah, a little over 100.
Yeah.
A little over 100.
So keep that in mind. This is an intimate theater experience, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. And, Sonoma, we're in the Bay Area. There's a lot of talented artists of all kinds.
I agree.
And all the creative arts in this community. And Sonoma Arts Live is part of that conversation, as are so many other arts opportunities in our town. It's just the best. I'm a huge Sonoma fan. I'm not a native either, but I'm here forever.
Oh, that's great.
I love this place.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it today when it's so beautiful outside.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's jump right into it because that's what we're here for. Let's talk about your directing The Hello Girls.
Yes.
And let's jump into right away what this story is about because it's fascinating. And I read the article that you wrote on it, but maybe you can just bring light to attention, then we'll deep dive into.
Yeah, let me try to give just that quick elevator pitch. It's a musical.
Yes.
It is a premiere for the area. It was a huge hit off Broadway in 2018.
Okay.
It chronicles the true story of a real group of World War I heroes called the Hello Girls, who were women and were the first women to be in combat in American history.
Right. Before they could even vote.
Before they could even vote, right? World War I. So ended in 1918. So before women in the United States had the right to vote. And there was a new technology in World War I called the telephone.
Can you believe that?
The telephone. It had never been used in combat before. And the people that operated the telephone the best in the United States were women.
Yes.
And so real life person, General Jack Pershing, had made a call to ask women to volunteer and go through intense scrutiny to be drafted to go serve on the front lines as telephone operators and French English translators.
Okay. So let me get this straight. This is front lines work out in the field and they have a whole system of telephone operations.
Yeah, like the soldiers are like laying the wire back to like the central area. We're switchboard operators. You know, this is the first incarnation of the telephone. 7,600 women volunteered and 233 were chosen and 39 were from California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, go California.
Yeah, and so the musical chronicles 5 real women, and there's 5 male actors in it as well, and some of them are real or some of them are kind of amalgamations of people. And it's also one of those really immersive kind of musicals. So all of these actors are also playing their own instruments.
Oh, it's a musical. So
it's a musical, but there's no orchestra.
Yeah. Okay. Just like a little side note.
Yeah.
This was originally, was it a short story? Did it start as a play? Like what are the inceptions that led up to it being a musical, or was it written for a musical?
Yeah, no. So the musical, I'm not sure how the creators of the musical came to find out this information, but there is an incredible book by Dr. Elizabeth Cobbs about the Hello Girls.
Is that the title? The Hello Girls?
The Hello Girls, yeah. And then there's an incredible documentary that is easily streamable called The Hello Girls.
Yes.
And that's by Jim Theres. You can IMDb him, JIMTHERES. He's done a few documentaries and he also works for the National Cemetery Association.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that how you found out this neat little tidbit?
Yeah. So these were real people. And ever since, Jamie Love of Sonoma Arts Live found out about the show. They were just deciding on their next season, as we were talking about. And she is a good friend of mine and texted me. She goes, have you heard of the musical, The Hello Girls? Okay. I am a huge musical theater nerd. And I knew about it. I had heard it. And I already thought the show was incredible. Like it's riveting. It captures people right away. It's funny too, even though it's about World War I.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's dancing. You know, these people went into battle together. So there's just camaraderie and it has all the things of like a perfect musical. And I was like, yes, like we need to do it. Then I was welcomed into like this community of people who are working to get the Hello Girls the recognition they deserve, because the other part of this story, and it goes through this in the musical, is when they came home to the United States, they were not given veteran status.
Oh, because it was
they took the Army oath. They were subject to court-martial. And as far as they were treated when they were over, they were treated like they were in the United States Army. But when they came back, they were like, well, you weren't holding a gun. You weren't really in combat. But they're like, we were on the front lines though. And so they spent until the 1970s trying to get veteran status, which they have. But now there's this incredible movement nationwide to get them a congressional gold medal.
Yes, that is amazing. And much needed. There's many stories with women that really kind of help build our system here in the United States.
Yeah.
That those stories are coming to a forefront.
So we're going to do the show, right? Sonoma Arts Live goes, we're doing the Hello Girls. Maeve's going to direct. And we're like, woo, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, I'm going to find all these people. I cast this beautiful show. And then I start doing my research, like a true theater nerd.
I like that part, don't you?
It's my favorite. And I get welcomed into like this networking community of people. And this gentleman, Jim, the director of the documentary, has just opened up like every resource I could possibly want, along with another gentleman, Captain Chris Christopher at the National World War I Centennial Organization.
Oh, wow.
They meet every week, you guys, trying to move forward on getting this congressional gold medal for the Hello Girls.
Ugh.
Right
Wait,
now. In 2024, it's happening. So then, Jim.
If someone wants to know more about that, can they reach directly out to?
So here's the thing, and I want to go over this a couple of times during the podcast, because we're going to talk about the show, how to get tickets, the Congressional Gold Medal. It's the World War I Centennial.org. And it has links right there to your senator and your representative.
Okay.
And a template. And you just email it off and you say, I think these women deserve a congressional gold medal.
It's that easy.
That easy.
I'm doing it.
And this is kind of like I was already excited about the show, but now I feel very called to help with this.
Right. Because it's more than just bringing attention through musicals and upholding that. This is how you can make a difference and get people recognized, folks, in the week of voting. So, the voice does matter.
Women's History Month tomorrow. I mean, this is March 7th. So tomorrow, March 8th is International Women's Day. Let's do this. And it takes literally 2 seconds. So people all over Sonoma are going to hear me going on about this. I'm like, we have this window. So then this is the exciting part. I hope people are still listening. Jim gives me all of the research, or a lot of it, that he used to make the documentary.
Oh, wow.
Like this, just links and
I imagine for him, and he was going to be here to be able to speak, but definitely look up this documentary.
Yeah.
I can only imagine all it takes to get the visuals and stuff to put a documentary and
finding
story
these
together.
Pictures. It's World War I, and it's about these forgotten people. So
my grandmother is 101. And so, talk about, it's just the beginning of the telephone. So you can imagine that there's not a lot of material to dig up to make a visual documentary.
Yeah, we're talking census records and obituaries and newspapers. That's the level that we can find. So anyway, Jim gives me all this information and I'm like, how cool. And I was aware of the 39 California Hello Girls. I'm like, sweet. He had put together, this is the first I'd learned about something like this, a virtual cemetery.
A virtual cemetery.
A virtual cemetery for the Hello Girls, because they're buried everywhere, even some in France. So 2 women did actually lose their lives serving.
Really?
So tell me they weren't veterans. I don't know. But I'm scrolling through as many as they have of the 233 women, and I'm like, boop, ba-doop, ba-doo. And I'm like, I wonder where this one's from. I'm thinking maybe I'll get one in San Francisco or something. Whatever. Yeah. There's someone in Sonoma.
Right where my grandfather is buried.
At Saint Francis Solano Cemetery.
Oh, wow. This is the one that's up behind the plaza, right?
Yeah, down Napa.
Down Napa Street.
Armstrong Park.
Definitely a place I used to hang out as a teenager. That's a whole side story. Yeah. But it's actually a really cool cemetery.
And it was crazy. And this woman is not one of the characters in the musical. So her name is Juliette Louise Courtial Smith. No relation.
That's weird, though.
She married a Smith, not when you're Smith. She married a Smith, and so did I. So
I know.
I don't think it's that weird, but
it's meant to be.
But one of the gals at the Sonoma Valley Historical Society was like, "Are you related?" I'm like, "No."
Yes.
No. Juliette. I'm scrolling. Oh, Juliette is buried in Sonoma at Saint Francis Solano. I'm like, that's crazy, but I'm assuming people that listen to this podcast are Sonoma fans. Sonoma is just like that, right?
We like that kind of stuff.
Coincidental and magical history. You're talking about the Sonoma Valley Women's Club, who helped the development of our plaza as it is today.
Yes.
In the early 1900s.
Exactly. We're busy. We're busy.
And there's always, that's just Sonoma's so cool like that. And I'm like, holy smokes, Juliette is buried here. So
have you been up to try to find her site?
So this is where it gets really good. This is where it gets really good. And this is where like Sonoma's going to answer the call for Juliette. I go down there as soon as I find out and like go down to Saint Francis Solano. I start looking around. I spend like over an hour looking. I can't find her. But like she's supposed to be there. Also, her husband and her mother are supposed to be there. Okay. So I'm like looking around. I park my car. I look around for over an hour. I'm about to go back to the car because I got my girls with me and I took my parents with me and we're like, grave hunting. Like, I don't know. It's like a new thing to put on the resume. So I am going back to the car. I'm like, all right, this is a little too long. I'll come back or I'll reach out to Saint Francis Solano and figure it out. And I like see this like bush and this tree like growing and was like, there are some plots there. I mean, I have walked down each row and I look and I'm like, oh, I found the husband. And then I'm like, oh, I found the mom. And then like adjacent to them is an unmarked grave.
Really?
And it's her.
It's an unmarked one though?
It's unmarked.
It's just...
And like, there's like these little plaques, like they don't have like proper big headstones and stuff. Like her husband, William, and then her mother have like little tiny like plaque.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she had one once and it just kind of weathered and gone away. Okay. So I immediately called Jim. There is the director and captain, Chris Christopher. And now there is a whole group of people that are going to get her headstone for her and her veteran status.
Have you checked like this family here in town?
So there's no next of kin. What's interesting is she was originally from Louisiana and her husband, William, got a job in Sonoma. And so then they moved here and she didn't ever have any children and they both passed away and neither were from here. But I've been working with them, the gentlemen that have been helping me in DC. I've been working with the Sonoma Valley Women's Club. I've been working with Sonoma Valley Historical Society, Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, World War I Centennial Commission. So like there's a group of people that are going to get Juliette her proper recognition.
That is amazing. I'm so happy that
Isn't
you just stumbled
awesome?
upon this. It makes me think how many other women might have the similar story that were part of the Hello Girls.
Probably a lot.
Yeah. If you know your stories and they're in the States, like look for it.
We do know who all of them were, but we haven't located all of them. And
you had an article come out that I did read. And where can one find that? Because it has a list of at least the 39 women in California, right?
Yeah, my article was published on doughboy.org.
Okay.
So a doughboy was a World War I soldier. Army soldier.
Is that right? I always wonder where that term came from.
So they were called doughboys. And then the Hello Girls, like they talk about how it wasn't like
very peppy titles for
and also how
wartime.
It wasn't like, it's like we don't want to call women girls. Like we've moved forward from that. Like if you're over the age of 18, you're no longer a girl. But it was a kind of like a loving term, like to counteract with the doughboys. So it was like the doughboys and the Hello Girls.
Was it like when they walked in, all the soldiers were like, hello, girls.
Hello, girls.
No, because no, it's a really cool scene. I don't want to give it away too much in the show, but like, because like they'd call the call center and they would be like, hello.
Oh, okay. Now I got it.
Hello, Gerardo.
Hello.
So anyway, obviously there's a lot of information that I just spewed out, but we're doing the Hello Girls. It's a premiere musical for the area. The cast is incredible. I was already excited about it creatively just to bring this musical. And then there's this incredible opportunity to either get the Hello Girls a Congressional Gold Medal, get Juliette her proper headstone, and we're going to do it.
Fantastic.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, I believe it's going to happen too. I'm excited to take those first steps of just pushing the button at the congressional hearing and voting to get them. Yeah.
And like, California, actually all of our senators and representatives that have signed their agreement to the bill, it just hasn't reached either the Senate or the House yet.
Takes a while.
So we're just like the more people. And like, it's so interesting, you guys, because there's so many things going on in the world and so many things that deserve our attention. And this is really important. And if you have time to do it, please do. And if there's something else you've been meaning to do to help someone else out, do that. I do feel pulled in a lot of directions, but this kind of is the most important thing to me right this second to try to help. Yeah. And maybe we could make a difference.
Yeah. And I like always the creative perspective too of acknowledging someone's story. That's essentially what podcasts try to do. You know, this brings to light the attention of stories and individuals and artists.
So yeah, the Hello Girls opens April 19th. I don't know if we want to talk about the show a little bit, but...
Yeah, talk about the show a little bit of how you're approaching it as a musical. So who wrote songs? Tell me all a little bit. Like, how does that even work? They're all like, let's put a little pep in the step in Hello Girls.
The musical is by Peter Mills and Kara Reichel, and they're big Broadway names.
Okay.
And they've written a bunch of other musicals, and they're currently like in the conversation on Broadway right now. So this was in 2018. I mean, they are in their working years of contributing to American musical theater.
You don't know how they grabbed onto this story. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm sure actually that like Jim might know and Dr. Cobbs might know, because they've all like, it's starting to get done a lot, and it's starting to get done in colleges and in small communities. Wow. So it's starting to, but it's still a premiere for this area. So
I think it's interesting. It puts it in a little touch, like my kids, I mean, we have a hard time conceptualizing really what it was like. World War II, I can kind of start to imagine because it's my grandparents and stuff, but World War I, there are not a lot of people of that era that are still here.
Yeah.
You know, that wouldn't be...
Would understand what happened or what was going
living
on.
through it at a young age. So
I felt exactly the same.
Bringing a history
getting into this because World War II. Like I totally learned about it in school, and you did learn about World War I, but almost like you learned about it like the Civil War and like the American Revolution. It was kind of like this.
Exactly. There's not a lot of theater or cinema or stuff that acknowledges that era. World War II has got some more stories that are there. So this is interesting.
But I will say,
especially in our telephone era where we all have our telephones as our arm here.
You pick it up, you go, hello.
Well, pretty much everybody from the era is dead, right? I mean,
1918 was the end of the war, so.
Yeah, my grandmother was there, but she was young, a kid at that age.
Well, I mean, if you were born in 1918.
She's 101, so.
It's past 2018.
Right around there, I think.
What I will say about this musical, it is not like a sleepy big war like show.
Sure. Yeah, and that's good.
Super fresh. It has a ton of contemporary vibes to it. It's almost like a universal feel. So we'll have historical elements, but we're not like doing a reenactment.
Good. Yeah, so thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. It's like...
But and again, I don't want to I don't want to say it's like this or it's like this, but for those people that aren't deep in musical theater, a lot of people know what Hamilton is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's about that time period, but it's like a little more universal, and that's why it's so cool and so fresh. So think about it with that lens of storytelling.
It's also different perspectives.
Totally.
Right?
Because it's the women that didn't ever get...
Exactly. Real quickly, though, the women that are the main characters were the real story. They're the real people. How did they decide? Like, did these women have kind of some stories that lent themselves to theater a little bit better?
So all the character names were real Hello Girls.
Okay. What are they? Just why not? Yeah.
Grace Banker.
Okay.
Who we actually know a lot about.
Okay.
And I've been in contact with her granddaughter. Like she's like still like trying to tell the story. And Grace Banker was a unit leader, unit chief. So her stories, that's kind of like, she's like kind of a boss lady. Louise Le Breton.
Fun to say. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's French.
She ended up coming back to San Francisco and going to UC Berkeley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is she one of those 39
She's
women?
One of the 39 California Hello Girls. Her story's pretty close to who she was. And then there are 3 others who are little pieces of a lot of people.
Okay.
One's Bertha Hunt, one is Helen Hill, and one is Suzanne Prevost. But they all were real Hello Girls.
Amazing. Yeah.
When you talk about the Hello Girls, it almost reminds me about that movie with Tom Hanks and the baseball girls. Remember?
Oh, A League of Their Own.
Yeah, because all the men were at war, and then they were using the women for, and then when the men were back, they're like, oh, we don't need you anymore. Get out of here. Yeah,
that's women world too. So it happens all the time.
Still happening.
It does. Still happening. I mean, think about a lot of movies that have come out over recently, like the NASA and all of that sort of thing. But this is so cool that it's coming back
so cool. And the cast is unbelievable. For people that go to Sonoma Arts,
you in it, or are you just directing?
I am not in it.
I was going to say, how do you do it, Maeve?
No, this requires all my attention to just direct it. I have like an incredible music director, incredible choreographer, and then like there's 10 people in the
your musical director?
Her name is Asia.
Oh, Asia, who put on
Ain't Misbehavin'.
Yes, Ain't Misbehavin'. I love that. So good.
It was
dancing.
so good too.
Who's choreographing is a
Jonathan Blue.
Okay.
He's a
know him.
You know him, right?
I don't think so.
He's also directing The Prom, which is this big splashy summer musical.
Excellent.
He's wonderful. You've definitely seen him in some things, but he's choreographing. He'll be in it too. And then, yeah, I'm really excited because I have like half of the cast have never done a show in Sonoma.
That's amazing.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
You know what I really love about this too is, well, there is an audience here too that will really appreciate the story coming to life. You guys do musicals, but you also do a very popular Sunday matinee that we have resident elderly living facilities that come on out and come to those matinees. I think they're going to appreciate hearing this,
and
you know?
When you go to book your tickets or you have any questions, SonomaArtsLive.org. I'm going to do some talkbacks.
Okay.
And we'll probably do them on the matinees because when you do them at night shows, it gets real late really quick.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do them on the matinees.
Say it again. What's a talkback just for those that don't know?
Oh, yeah. After the show. After the show, a director, I'm going to, rally up some actors and you get to learn about either the show and like the history behind it or like what goes on behind the scenes. What do you drink before you go on stage and all the like.
What do you drink before you go on stage?
Coffee.
Tequila.
Yeah. I'm the worst of like, because I don't know. I'm a mom. And I do have to shout out, I work full time. I have an incredible job. I'm the general manager of Coursey Graves Winery up on Bennett Mountain. Yeah, on top of Bennett Mountain. Amazing winery, Coursey Graves. So then in my other life, when I'm doing shows, I have literally like coffee, peanut butter, cheese, everything you're like not supposed to drink or eat right before you perform.
I hear you. It's prep for trash and fashion. I'm gonna feel good. Actually, you like to call them, Gerardo, my sad salad days, but I am eating whole and clean. Oh. And then things got crazy in the past 2 weeks and it's all out the window. Yep. And there's donuts in the office and I'm all, I just gotta get through
sugar,
the next month.
caffeine, just like, I call it like just sliding into home.
Exactly.
Trying to get through. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be big. I just hope people come out because I don't want them to miss it.
I agree.
I think it's important. Like, this is a celebration of women, but also people that served our country. And like, it is so powerful to celebrate that in a completely bipartisan way of these people that were so passionate about serving their country. They couldn't even vote and they still wanted to go. So I think when you were talking about people coming to matinees and people that we have in town, let's celebrate these people. This is for our veterans. These are for people that have served that were underrepresented. And there's a lot of different populations of people that have served our country.
Absolutely.
That their stories weren't told.
We're grateful just in our own little parts to be able to do the Veterans Hall. Yeah. Sonoma's so small, but really it's the largest venue that can accommodate for our show. And they are so supportive. In a couple of years, they give us free use to put on free Thanksgiving. And in return, Veterans Halls are not getting a lot of support these days. No. So we have very limited staffing availability, which makes, trying to explain to everybody, it's like, okay, we're only on there for 10 hours because they cannot support certain staffing. There are veterans places all over the place that we're kind of a hub, but aren't getting that kind of support. Yeah, either,
I would say, again, it's like, I wonder how many people not in Sonoma listen to this podcast. Right. But I hope so. I'm gonna share it with our friends that are helping me in DC. And they were the ones that published my article on doughboy.org, which is a national publication. Doughboy.
I feel like we're channeling the spirit of what the story is all about, because not just as Sonoma Arts Live and Community Center, we really are about community here and stepping up and helping everybody out. Even my awesome colleagues that I work with. Everybody has a passion project, and we all help out. Even if we're tired, we want to be there to support each other's events. Well, that's the same thing, essentially, of what these women were doing for their country on a bigger level. You know? So it's really about supporting your fellow humans in endeavors.
Your local veterans hall, your community center, your local theater, like your local organization, nonprofit that's like out there giving services to people, food, clothes, like
right.
It's the only reason to exist.
Come together.
Like,
so
yeah. I'm really excited.
Good. Gerardo, what do you think? I know you came into here with a, what is this?
Yeah. I didn't know what it was about, but now I know. It's pretty interesting, though. I got a lot of respect for women. So, my mom is a woman. So,
yeah, exactly. And your wife. And I think this will be coming out towards the end of March, but this is a forever thing. So definitely catch Sonoma Arts Live's production of the Hello Girls. Tickets are on sale now.
They're on sale.
Yeah.
We open April 19th.
In Sonoma.
I'll keep you informed if we get Juliette's headstone.
That would be
amazing.
amazing.
If you want to write a little quick email for the Congressional Gold Medal, you can do World War I, centennial.org.
Very cool. Well, I think we're going to end this out on an up note because I love this. I'm so happy you came here and shared this story.
Thank you for letting me come. I just
definitely coming to the show. Now that it's after Trash and Fashion.
Totally.
Trash and Fashion, Molly.
Trash and Fashion. I can't wait for that
folks.
too.
So we are right on the tail of Trash and Fashion when this is coming out, which is the first couple of weeks. See our Trash and Barbies. If the runway show is sold out, come to Trash Bash. Many ways to support in volunteering and just being a part of it in general for creative sustainability events and our community in the North Bay.
Come and check us out. We got a lot of classes too going on the culinary part. So
exactly, you have some really exciting ones coming up.
So we got Maria
in April.
In April. So we do have Easter's inspired. So a lot of classes coming up. Pizza shop, pasta shop.
Again,
so
amazing women.
Check us out.
Doing great things.
Yeah, you see. No,
Never bad time.
I remember I worked in the chicken farm for 3 years, and they were just women that we used to hire because they were the most reliable people to have in our jobs.
That sometimes.
We didn't hire guys. It was really funny. Guys, we used to come in and it's like, I'm like, nah, I'm good, man.
Exactly.
Give me a girl.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're pretty used to multitasking and sometimes taking on too much. But as something that came up in our marketing meeting
were really
here at the community center.
Women are really responsible when it comes to jobs. They were really responsible. Us, we're like, nah.
You didn't give yourself enough credit. Well, let's end this out as an up notes. Get your tickets to the Hello Girls, and thank you, Maeve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.